So the shop's been going about 3 years now, and I actually had it for 4 years, to be honest. It took me a year to build it. I say build it, the building was here. It wasn't like I made the building. But when I got in and I first opened the roller shutter on the front, the place was a mess. And where I'm stood now, this was where all the big fish bays were. So it was a shellfish processing plant, you know? And what they did was the shellfish came in through there and they washed it all out. And this place, as you imagine, tens of years of shellfish being in here, stinking, it was nasty. So cleaned it all out, knocked all these out. It was a bit like a motocross track here, hence we put the decking over. And then made this sort of cafe bit of it. And this side of things has been going really, really well. I've quite enjoyed doing that. But my main passion really is the workshop. And just through there, that's where my workshop started. But we got the other unit to the side and I expanded into that other unit. And it's made a nice little distance, to be honest, because people would just be straight in there with a cup of coffee chatting to me while I'm tinkering away on a bike. And it was a bit sort of, yeah, you know when you're like a goldfish in a bowl there, just people just staring at you and you're thinking, I just want to get on with it, it sort of puts you off. But that works nice, there's a little bit of distance now between us and the workshop and everything. Yeah, but it was always something that I wanted to do, because my sort of, what I did for hobbies and stuff like that, I used to race bikes. I raced for the military actually. So I did that and I went through a 21-year career in the military, started off in the Marines, and then I did selection, UKSF selection in 2006 and got badged as an SF operator. Spent the last 10 years doing that for my sins. Yeah, it was good, interesting times. But all the way through that, I'd been doing the bikes, building my own bikes. So I was never formally really trained in bikes. I just learned myself. But every day's a school day. And I was just seeing a bit, we've just got a 1959 Triumph in that I'm doing at the minute and never even seen one, never even touched one. So yeah, it's a new thing for me, that, doing the really old stuff. But we're enjoying it, it's absolutely cracking. This is the 1959 Triumph. And it didn't come to us like this. It was a little bit different from this. We haven't done a huge amount here, but we just started doing a job on it, and I wanted to go with a board tracker look. I need to take the bike out for a test run, so first thing I need to do is give it a good clean off. Sounds like daft. Why would I give it a clean off before I take it out? However, there's oil and stuff all over the engine, and because there's a problem in there somehow and there is an oil leak, what I want to do is be able to identify where the oil came from. So I'll clean it all off and we'll take it out for a little run, and then I'll be able to see where all those little seeps of oil, etc., what's leaking, what little sort of gaskets have got a problem, and I can see it. If I went out there mucky, I'd come back mucky and not be able to identify where it is. However, first thing I'm going to do is the chain, because I've not touched the chain since I got it and it is a bit of a state. So we're going to give this a good clean off. Straight away I can see loads of guff coming out of this. Then I'll give it a good scrub off here. That's even brought the rim up nice, look at that. As you can see, if you focus in on here, that there's oil all over it, and we can tell there's leaks, but because there's so much oil on it, I don't know where the leaks are coming from. I know it's somewhere around the head, etc. So what I need to do is clean all this off, get all this old oil off it, so when I run it out this time, we can identify where all the little leaks are coming from. So I'll get into this now. I'll lash a load of this on and let it take effect, and it should bring this up quite easily. Look at that, there's a big drip down there. I don't know where that's come from. Tank's got loads of workshop filth on it, just general dust to be fair, and actually there's a bit of oil and stuff around the oil tank. So as soon as I'm here, I'm going to give it a wash off. We haven't got any taps in here and stuff, so I'm going to use this waterless wash. It's absolutely cracking bit of kit. Little dab on there, let it do its magic. Love the job. It's because we haven't done much with this bike before. I use this a lot with the motocross bikes and stuff like that, motorcycle protectant. Yeah, it sounds, well, what's it going to protect? It's not going to stop you falling off, is it? It won't protect you. But what it does do is it puts a little bit of a layer on the frame and whatever panels, etc. you've got. So when you next come to clean it, all the stuff doesn't get ground in and stuck to it. It just makes it easier for when you next come to clean it. Smells lovely, doesn't it? If you're running discs and stuff like that, wouldn't be spraying it on your discs. Make sure you actually protect them. These are actually drum brakes, so the pads and etc. are inside, so it's not too bad. I won't go spraying it in the holes though. Now this tank was freshly painted, so it actually, okay, it's got the lack on it, but it's never really had any protection on it beyond that. So I'm going to use a little bit of wax here. Turn it around the other side, guys. So I don't need to massively rub this in. What I'm just going to do is just coat it and then let it haze off there. Well, that's what I missed a bit. Once that's drying, I'll do the oil tank as well. May as well get a bit on there. It's another bit of fresh paint that needs sealing up. Okay, that's hazing off nicely, and now I'm going to buff it off. And it comes off super easy as well. So these pegs are pretty stiff. I'm just going to put a bit of Mo 94 in here. There we go. I didn't really want to just loosen the nuts because it's nice and tight with no play, but a little bit of Mo 94 in there gives it a little bit of lube, and the same with the brake. And last thing we do before I run it out, I'm going to put a bit of dry chain lube on it, just to lube that chain up, give it a good clean. It's actually looking immaculate, so let's put a little bit of lube in here. I'm putting it on the inside, so then as it rotates, centrifugal force forces it through the chain and to the outside. Well, that's worked a treat. Straight away, we've got an oil leak here, just off the transfer, and there's one on the head just underneath here. There's also a little suspect one I've got on the primary casing, which I don't know, I'll have to take that apart and have a look at it and see if there's a crack in the casing. No great dramas, we can fix that, but it served its purpose. If I hadn't cleaned all that oil off and got it all sorted, I wouldn't be able to identify those leaks. So it's done a real good job. Happy with that, mate. Well, thanks for coming down anyway. I'll give you a shout when it's finished, and hopefully you can come down and have a look at it.